What's up, everybody? And before we get going, got to give a huge shout out to our Patreon members. Huge shout out to Tony, Starla, Sam, Luke, Jacob, Tyler, and Jeff. Thank you guys for your continued support. Luke and I appreciate it. On this episode here, we got episode 163 coming to you. We got a very special guest joining us today. She is the daughter of a UPS driver who we've had on our podcast twice already. We're going back to episode 9 to episode 95 as well. And we're talking about Slammer. We got Slammer's daughter, Paige, joining us here on this episode. So 163, let's get this one underway. Here we go. We got to this one address. I said, this one goes around back. He went around back, boom, drove off, left them right at the stop.
That was after getting hit by a car.
Wait, you got hit by a car?
I ended up drinking 24 Bud Lights in about 48 minutes. Drunken nomad stumbles out in the road and he hit me going 30 miles an hour.
What's up, everybody, and thank you for joining us on another episode of All in the Delivery. This is episode 163. And let's get this one started, shall we? Going around the table to my co-host down in Virginia. I did not mean to play that. I am struggling this afternoon. I'm all jacked up. I don't know what just happened. My fingers
slipped. 2 episodes in a row now.
2 episodes in a row. Oh, God damn it. Episode 163. Luke, how are you, buddy?
Well, you know, there's a lot of firsts that happen sometimes before podcasts, and it is rare because of how, with 163 episodes now, you know, I say this a lot, but I can say this is the first time I've actually cut the grass and weed eated before we've done an episode. I don't think I've ever done that before, but it was looking like a jungle out there, and it needed to be done. But I'm doing well. It's the sun's shining. It's hot. It's not raining, but it's still the weekend, and I'm excited for this one. So yeah, I'm doing good.
Heck yeah. So let me introduce you guys our guest today. She is a full-time ring announcer for 2 different wrestling promotions. And as I just said at the top there too, she is Slammer's daughter, who we love so much, her father, Slammer. Guys, please welcome to the show, Paige McFarland. How are you, Paige?
I'm doing good. How are you guys?
Good. Thank you for joining us. This is going to be a good one.
I'm excited. When you asked, I was like, this is cool. This is different. I like it.
Hell yeah.
That's exactly what I was when we were talking, when we kind of thought with the idea, because Dave does, like when we were talking earlier about, you know, sort of the origins of it, as far as my nickname I gave myself a long time ago is Low Tech Tommy. So Dave handles most of everything. If you see videos edited from it and anything on that side, and I'm always, since we started it when there was still originally 4 of us, we all kind of had tasked with stuff, and because I was really, really bad on the internet at that point, and I hate to say at that point because that was literally not that long ago, but I
online.
Yes, so I was kind of like had my role off of the podcast, quote unquote, if you will, back then, was to like find people to come on. And at that point with COVID, and it was literally early into COVID, so nobody was doing really anything. And it was, we just had people, I've said it multiple times. It was like a month and a half in advance of just a schedule actually lined up, because nobody could do anything, and it hit the ground running with it. So I was always like wanting to, that was kind of to bring people on. And with your dad, like I was telling you before we got on, he's one of the most interesting we've had on, because I think, and I was telling Dave this beforehand, and we'll get into this a little bit more later, but I want to say this before we get going because I talked to him about the leg drop, and he was saying, because we were talking about with Hulk doing the leg drop and how many times he would do it, and your dad was saying, well, he did it every night, and him not doing it, he was like a weekend wrestler and doesn't take as many bumps. But I was saying to Dave, like, I'll walk downhill delivering, and if I step wrong, I'll tweak my back. So I'm like, he's still doing a leg. I don't care. Like, I was ultra impressed with that. It was like, yeah, we gotta get this guy. We gotta hear this guy's story. So, and
he's an interesting one for sure.
Well,
he's got the stories, UPS and wrestling.
It's crazy.
Well, it was I was just like, I remember Bobby and I in that first one, we were just in like fanboy mode because he was talking about just the era that we grew up in. Because Bobby, he's like a year older than me, and when he was talking about the Bushwhackers, and I believe it was Bushwhacker Luke is the one he knows pretty well. I was like, for me, that was like, because my name's Luke, and when I was a kid, I loved the Bushwhackers, and I loved Bushwhacker Luke because we shared the same name, and I was like, holy shit, this guy is Bushwhacker Luke. And like the whole time, if we had that on YouTube, you probably could see our faces just like, just gleaming. But
I know, Bushwhacker Luke is awesome. He is one of the coolest people I've ever met. Love that guy.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that, because it's like when you know them just as what they are as a wrestler, and I'm glad to hear he's a good guy, because I love that man.
And they disappoint. That's true, but he does not disappoint.
That's good. That's good.
That's incredible. That's incredible. Yeah, it was actually funny because there was one story that Luke shared on there. On your dad's episode, and it was about how when he was younger, and watching all the wrestlers, and they're all mostly shaved up, oiled up, they're all shaved, right?
I'm 40, Luke, and I'm born in like I'm seeing mullets and shaved like glisten, I'm seeing the baby oil out there.
So then there's Luke, and Luke says he, when he was a kid, he believed that if you just lifted weights, you wouldn't have body hair, and that's what Luke believed when he was a kid. Was that if he just lifted weights, he wouldn't have body hair, because he sees these wrestlers on TV that are just jacked.
Thanks for letting me relive that one, but
if that's how it works, I don't think it is. I'll double check out. I don't think that's how it works.
You got.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, that was a classic.
That's
one.
An incredible story.
The Ultimate Warrior was my favorite wrestler back when I was a kid. That's when he was really coming up, and I was just like, it just made me think. I'm like, oh, he just lifts weights a lot. He doesn't have body hair. Okay. For some reason that stuck. I don't think I asked anybody. I just assumed that till I was, I don't know how old.
Sometimes you just get something in your head, and that's how it is.
Yeah, right.
That's it. But
So you grew up liking wrestling as well, or not really?
Both of us did growing up. Yeah, both of us did.
Okay.
As a kid, I really, really did, and as a teenager, like I've gotten back into it more recently because of like it was a few years ago. One of my friends and his son's really into it. My nephews are into it, so it got me. And I still love it. I don't have like, for me, we were talking about it. We were like I was growing up in the Monday Night Wars, and it's hard to I don't think to capture that. That's a hard thing to ever, but I do like watching wrestling now. I watched SummerSlam the other night, not all of it, but some of it with my nephew when I was over there. But growing up, yes, I loved it. Absolutely.
Love it.
Yeah. And that was the same thing with me. Like, I grew up with the Attitude Era, like when Stone Cold Steve Austin first came in, and all those guys. And I mean, like Luke and I have talked about this like this whole past week. We're like, all right, we're gonna have Paige on. Like, and Luke and I are like, she's probably like, you're probably well more versed
Yeah, we're like,
about like the
he's
history
covered the
of
wrestling
wrestling
so
than like we are because of your dad. But like,
He's a lot of stuff in my brain.
it's incredible. Like growing up, like so, like take us back. Like growing up, what was that like for you? You know, obviously with your dad being just obviously a driver, and we know our jobs aren't 9 to 5. You know, sometimes we don't get to see our parents when they get home because they get home so late and we're already in bed, whatever. But just take us back growing up, and to where you currently are now.
Yeah. So, let's see. Growing up, I feel like the first few years of my life, I really didn't see my dad that much, honestly, because he started part-time at UPS in 2003, and I was 3. So he works part-time at UPS, but my mom was a stay-at-home mom, so couldn't live on just that. So he had 2 jobs. So I usually wouldn't see him because he would do the preload, then he would come home, sleep for a couple hours, work the rest of the day. Yeah. And then he ended up starting full-time driver 2006. So I feel like that's when I started finally getting to see him a lot more. Everyone, not just me, my mom, everyone finally getting to. But a lot of people I feel like do not understand, even like to this day, even people in our family, they'll want to plan something. Well, Chris, he can be there at 6. No. He could get off at 4 p.m. or he could get off at 10 p.m. We don't know. We have no idea when he's going to be home. So it is an interesting, I mean, he obviously, if you can tell, we're very, very close. We're best buds. Like, it didn't affect that at all. He still was the absolute best dad, even though I didn't see him as much. But I'm pretty sure it was like, I think Sundays was the only day he didn't work. So I think Sundays was like the only day I would actually really get to see him.
I think he, if I remember right, I think he said it was because I worked preload for about almost 6 years, and I think he had said maybe 9 or 8. He did it a long time. I know that.
Yeah, I think he started in 2000. Well, no, he would have done it. He started in 2003. And he became a driver in 2006. So he did it for about 3 years.
Man, I must be thinking of somebody else. And I thought he did it for, maybe that's, never mind. I got my numbers mixed up, but that's, it
was like 3 to 4 years.
Well, that is good to get that's like Dave, because it gets with all this, I don't want to really keep breathing life into this, but because of all the buyout talk that has been talking with UPS, the part-time years get because I told Dave, I was like, at least with you don't have to complicate, because the preload years are different towards stuff towards pensions and retirement. It's a huge, but I don't want to get into it, but I've been hearing just saying we've had a streak with that stuff, but
no, you're right. Like a lot of people now used to, like when my dad first started, I guess probably when you first started too, you didn't just immediately get the driving job. You had to work your way up. And I feel like a lot of times now people just immediately get to jump into the driving job and they don't actually realize what they have. Like they don't appreciate it as much because they didn't work as much for it. Like used to, you had to literally build your way up this ladder. And I just don't feel like you have to do that as much anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
I agree with it, Dave. It's true. It's true, Dave. It not is. For you, but go ahead.
I mean, I must have gotten in at the right time. 11 years ago, I worked preload for a month, and then I started driving. Yeah.
No hate. I'm just saying.
No, I know it's okay. But I do agree, though. Now, yes, a lot more recently, they're just hiring these kids right off the street.
Which is why the buyouts are working for some people.
Right.
They're like, $30,000. Let's take it.
Right. Cash. What? Right now? Okay.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
And Luke and I have talked about that too on here, where a lot of these kids come in, they're single, they don't have a family, so they might not look at this job as being their career.
Right.
They might just look at it just being another job.
Yes.
And then someone offers you $30,000 in cash, you're gonna be like,
I'm gonna take it.
I'm out. Yeah. 100%.
So I manage a doctor's office in my time that I'm not, doing wrestling.
I was going to ask what you did other than
I work for a chiropractor and I manage his office and do all of the things. But recently, I don't know, from the last 3 or 4 months, we got this new patient that started coming in, and I think he was like 18 or 19, but he comes in and he had like the UPS insurance card, and like he wrote that like he worked at UPS and that he was a preloader, and I was like, listen, I had a whole talk with this kid. I was like, you don't know what you have. I was like, you keep this job. I was like, this insurance is absolute liquid gold. I was like, I'm getting kicked off of it when I turn 26 next year, and I'm terrified. Keep this job. Keep this job.
Yeah, 100%.
I like gave him this pep talk. I was like, I know you didn't come in here expecting this pep talk, but you're getting it.
That's good you were there, because he definitely needed to hear it.
Literally.
Oh man. So chiropractor office, that's awesome. Yes. I am a true believer in going to see the chiropractor.
Oh, me too.
Kind of got Luke on board. With that one. Luke's never been, and I'm like, dude, you've gotten hit by a car before.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you heard the intro, you probably were like, this guy has to be going to the chiropractor.
You probably should have went to the chiropractor.
That was in my very young days in a different time of my life. But yes, I should have went to the chiropractor way before I did. But I will say he made me a believer, and it's good. I don't go regular as I should, but I deliver to the place. So after a while,
you go regular with the UPS route. That's impossible.
Well, that's the only thing. The only thing that makes it work really is because this place is on my route, and I deliver to it, deliver to them. And they'll after a while, because I had to go in there I had some sciatic issues and had to get that straightened out. And so when I'm delivering there, they'll say like every now and again, you should just do maintenance, whatever it's called. And I'll just deliver in there after a while, and then they'll just look like, it's been a while. I'm like, I know. They're like, so you're going to regret it. And I'm like, I know, you're probably right. But
yeah, it's hard. My dad wishes he could go a lot more because it helps so much with, obviously the job being physically demanding plus wrestling, but our office is not on his route, not even anywhere close to his route. There's another UPS driver who's worked there. Him and my dad started almost the exact same time. Ironically, his name is Luke, but not this
nice.
But sometimes come in, and he'll be like our first appointment of the day. So what he'll do is he'll just drive from the center. He'll start on his route, and he'll just immediately take part of his break. Have an appointment, go.
Yep.
So
yeah, I've done that before myself, where I was delivering and there was a chiropractor on the route, and I got set up with them. I took my lunch and try to plan it around that time, which, drivers can usually do that for the most part, is kind of plan their lunch around a certain spot. And that's good.
Yep.
That's good. So, are you still living at home? Or do you have your own place?
Oh yes, I'm saving that money.
Okay.
That's expensive.
I don't blame you.
Good.
I do not blame you one bit.
I don't see the point in paying like $1,000 on an apartment that I'm just going to come sleep in.
Facts.
I can't. I would rather save my money and, buy a house one day.
Good.
That's the goal.
Well, it's crazy anywhere now. Like even because people have asked me because of the network we have and people from all over the place talk to us. Like people ask me even like stuff to rent here because they just assume that rent will be cheap here, but it's crazy. It's like you can't find like even like. There's not anything you can really find for under $1,000 even here, and if it is, it's not something you really want to like spend any time. It's crazy. So I don't blame you for that because it's if you're working all the time, good choice.
I have 3 years in apartment management actually, so I'm very familiar with all of the rentals in this area, and it is just ridiculous. I'm like, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
Especially to have someone living like above or below you that's making noise all the time and annoying. No.
I had to deal with that before. Yeah. I don't miss that. I'm hearing noise above me now, but that's just my daughter running around, so that's okay.
Well,
but but I've heard the other noise of just people stomping around. I lived in an apartment before in a complex, so yeah, I totally.
No, and when you work in it
good.
and you have people coming to you like 24/7 complaining about their neighbors and complaining about this and that, it does not make you want to rent.
Yeah, I would.
Or in any
understand
apartment.
that.
Yeah.
No.
It's true. So growing up too, with your dad, like I'm just gonna assume that you guys would watch wrestling together.
Oh, of course.
Like, what? Just do you have any memories of like maybe like one that really sticks out early on in your life, where it's just like, because obviously you fell in love with it too.
Oh yeah, my mom said that I was born with WWE logos in my DNA. Like she always said, like there would just be WWE logos in your DNA.
Love that.
I was taught about it from the womb. I mean, he always had wrestling on. I mean, she's pregnant with me sitting there. I'm sure I could hear it. I probably knew. I'm born. I sit there. We watch wrestling. But yeah, I mean, I don't really ever remember a time not watching it. And even if he wasn't home, I still watched it. But yeah, whenever you say like, is there a memory that sticks out? I do have one that sticks out. And I can't remember off the top of my head what year this was, but I would have been fairly young. I remember me and my dad watching together, and it was the episode after Chris Benoit had died. But like before we knew that he had like murdered his whole family, like before all that came out.
I remember that. Yeah.
It was the first time I remember like experiencing like a death just in general and it being on TV. I don't know, that one really sticks out.
Yeah.
Well, that was
really remember.
Yeah, because that whole storyline, because I was still watching it pretty regular then, and because like Vince McMahon was supposed to be dead or gone or something, like he was playing like, and he came back, and that was like a huge shift to see that. Like that would have been like, and then that whole story is just crazy to even like. I want to say maybe 2007, 2006, maybe. I don't know. I feel like I.
Oh, we cannot hear you at the moment. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. No. Can you hear her?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Oh, I got you now. That was weird. But sorry, go ahead. You were saying.
That's weird. I didn't touch anything. That's strange.
No. Okay.
No, I just looked up the date and it did. It happened in June of 2007. So I would have been
2007.
So there's definitely got to be earlier memories, but I thought that one really.
But that one stands out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, that was a crazy.
Oh
that
gosh,
whole thing was crazy. Then after finding out the truth, and they had to like go back to, that was
Wild.
weird.
Wild.
There's documentaries on that that was a wild one.
But it's funny because Luke and I, like, obviously, like I said, all Luke and I talk to each other every day. Like when we're out there delivering, like we'll talk to each other on the phone and whatnot. And so, we were like trying to get ideas of stuff we could talk about for your episode, obviously, because Luke and I share. It's weird. Luke and I kind of share like two very important moments that happened in WWE history.
Okay.
And so I don't know. Do you want to tell you the match you were at, Luke? Because Luke and I were both at different matches that had these like crazy events that happened that were very Luke's just. I can't believe he was there for this one.
I'd said this on your dad's episode, but I was there. I was there for the Hell in the Cell match when the Undertaker threw Mankind off the top of the cage. And I was literally on that side. I was on the side of that happened on. Yeah. And to the crazy thing that like, cause we had our seats we were the very last row on the floor. So like we were able to stand like as kids. That was like 1998, I think. My little brother, my dad took me, my little brother, and our neighbor up. Because I would have been like 13 and my brother would have been 10, I think. And we went up because it was in Pittsburgh and that's not far from where I'm at. So we were like able to stand on the top of our chairs because the people behind us were like sitting in the seats in the arena, you know, so they were above. So we weren't blocking anybody. So like that was incredible because we were able to see. Yeah. And it was I told Dave, and it was like the whole place. And when I've watched it on video and I can never hear it the same, but I swear it was dead silent in there for a split because everybody gasped at the same time. And then like when it happens, and you know, when you're there live, you don't have the commentary. So I'm just sitting there like, was that supposed, like, yeah, I was like, was that supposed to happen? Like I couldn't, that was insane to even, and then like jokingly, Kane, because I was telling you earlier, I listened to the Undertaker's podcast, 6 Feet Under, and Kane was on there on one of them and was saying that like nobody remembers that was the first time he became the world heavyweight champion in his career, and nobody remembers it because it was the night that match happened. And I laughed because I told Dave, I was like, that's totally true. Like I remember Kane winning it, but I couldn't tell you a thing that happened. But I can remember that Hell in a Cell match with like when he went through the top of the cage coming back, like that again, I was like, oh, I don't think that supposed to happen. And then you find out way later that was actually an accident, which makes it even more crazy. But yeah, that was
wrestling story. Congratulations.
Yeah, that's what I told my dad. So my nephews, his grandsons are like so into it right now. His middle, like my sister's middle kid, Matt, he is hardcore into it. And like my dad's sitting there, I'm like, Dad, you literally have the Hell in the Cell match to tell. Like when they found out we were there, like I was like, you could have. Yeah. I was like, you would have been the coolest. You have no idea what you got. And he was like, oh yeah, I remember that. I was like, God, yeah, the other thing, yeah, I remember. I was like, that was, yeah. So that was mine. But
like a life-changing moment in wrestling history. Like this literally went down. Wow.
It was one that I will never. I loved Mick Foley. I was a huge man. I loved him. So I was so like it just. I don't know, to see that live. That'll be something I will never ever forget. But yes, that was my wrestling. I had a couple others, but that's my best. I mean, that peaks it all. I won't ever be able to top that. Yeah. I can't.
I lied when you said that. That's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, mine's not as crazy as that because that's obviously, like you said, that's like a staple of like a shift. In the organization.
And
there.
I said, like, I don't remember who won King of the Ring. I don't remember any. Like, I remember D'Lo Brown and Dan Severn wrestled in the tournament, but I couldn't tell you any. But that match, like, I can remember everything, just piece by it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and then like mine happened also at King of the Ring in, I think this was 2001. And that was the match between Kurt Angle and Shane McMahon. When Kurt went to go suplex Shane McMahon through the glass on the stage, like through like the big old platform thing, and like I think Shane ended up landing on his head, like breaking his collarbone or something happened like in that moment, and then like he literally tried throwing him through it again, and it didn't break then too, and it slams down, and then he just ends up, tells him, I'm just gonna, I think I heard in an interview it was Shane that was like, just throw me head first through it, just literally throw me head first, and that's what happened, and then it broke, like after that, but yeah, no, Luke going to see Mankind get thrown off the Hell in a Cell is wild.
But I will share this one though as a first memory, because we talked about this a little bit on a Patreon thing, because my dad had seen Andre the Giant a lot, and when I was born, I didn't, like, when I was old enough to remember stuff, Andre was like towards the end of his career. But I can remember, like, I couldn't think of any other matches like when I was this young, but I can remember watching Hacksaw Jim Duggan and Andre the Giant. And my dad, like, remember being so into it because Hacksaw Jim Duggan finally was able to knock him down. And like my dad being so into it too. And that was because he had watched him like 10 or 12 years prior. Like he saw Prime Andre back in like the late 70s. He came in, but I that was like that is my earliest memory I can remember was Andre and Hacksaw Jim Duggan. But that's,
Yeah, that would have been so cool to see him in person.
like back then, because there was no like social media and internet and stuff, and like just all the stuff about him is kind of like the stories you hear. It's just nuts. Like I feel like he'll be talked about for generations to come, just because. But,
He's not going away anytime soon.
but how did the ring announcing? How did the ring announcing start? Like when did that come up? Sorry if I cut out there. I think I did.
No, you're fine.
Okay.
You're frozen up for me again. Like your face is frozen, but I can hear you, so that's fine.
Okay, good.
Oh, I can see you again. Great. The announcing thing honestly happened very accidentally. So my dad had gotten back into wrestling in 2016, and by 2018, 2019, we really started traveling a lot more, going to a lot more shows. So we had started going to this place called New Breed Wrestling. So it's kind of I don't know if you guys are familiar with Missouri at all. Probably not, because it's boring. But like the Sedalia, Eldon, Warsaw area, like they kind of travel within like a 1 hour radius of like these different cities. So the promoter, Scott, had contacted my dad. My dad started wrestling there. He wrestled there for a couple years. We went every month, and I was always with him. So, and they're also like, it's anywhere between like 3 to 4 hours from our house. So like it would be a long day, like travel down there, be there hours, come back home. So I think it was like a Monday or a Tuesday, and there was going to be a show on Saturday. My dad comes home from work, and he's like, hey, I got a message from Scott. They no longer have a ring announcer. They need someone to announce on Saturday night. And he wants to know if you'll do it. And I was like, no. Nope. Because I love wrestling, and I've always thought that it would be so cool to do something in wrestling. Because like at this point, I've been around it for years. I have a lot of friends there. Like I've always thought, oh, this would be so cool to do something. But I don't like talking in front of people. Like I don't like any like public speaking class I ever had to take. I don't like being in front of crowds of people. I'm like, don't look at me. So I was like, no, I'm not doing that. And he's like, yes, you are. I'm telling him you're doing it. I'm like, I don't want to. And he's like, you're going to regret it if you don't. He's like, you're going to go Saturday. You're going to wish you did it. He was like, you should just do it. And I'm like, whatever. I'll do it. So first of all, we go, and it's like in this huge, like city hall kind of building where they have an auditorium. And this building is huge. Well, there's only like 50 people there. So like the crowd is dead. There's like no one really cheering. It's not loud. I'm like, oh my gosh, like so anxiety ridden. But like at this point, I knew all of the wrestlers there, and they're like so excited for me. They're like, you have to do it. Like, we love you. We want you to announce us. So they really hyped me up. Yeah. And I did it. And I was like, wait, like that was kind of fun. When I watched the videos back, I sucked. I did. So bad. It was awful. You could tell how nervous I was. But they all hyped me up so much, and they were all just like, you're who we want to like announce us. Like, we love you. You're always here. Like, you should be a part of it. So I was like, whatever. Like, you don't have a ring announcer. I'm always here. Why not? So I worked for them for about a year and a half. But honestly, like I said, they're 3 to 4 hours away. And there have just been a lot more opportunities that have come up for me and my dad that are within a closer span. So it's just not as realistic anymore. So I ended up giving that up. They have someone now. My dad still goes and wrestles sometimes. If he goes, I'll totally go. It's not like bad
right.
Obviously, it was just way too much to do that in one day. So anyways, but because of that, I then got asked, the promoter at MMWA, which has been around since 1971. It's in St. Louis.
Nice.
He found out that my dad had started wrestling there in like 2022, I believe. He realized that I did ring announcing, and their ring announcer was leaving. So he asked me to do it for like 2 months in a row. And then I guess he just wanted to test me out a little bit. But this place, like, it sells out, standing room only, like 700 people in the building, like packed.
All right.
I'm like, oh my God, like I could barely do it in front of 50 people. How am I going to do it in 100? I can't. But it's ended up being the absolute best. Those people are like my family. It is my favorite place to go. They've now got a situation in Arnold, Missouri. So yeah, so like Arnold and St. Louis are like 20 minutes apart. So now they're going to be doing 2 shows a month instead of one in St. Louis, one in Arnold, different weekends. So I am with them a lot.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, he decided to pick me after the 2 months. He thought I was good, I guess. So here we are.
So no regrets doing it.
No regrets. No.
You love it. That's awesome.
I love it. I love it so much.
And it's so crazy.
One other company, but I don't actually ring announce there. I do backstage interviews.
Okay.
So I work for a company called St. Louis Anarchy. And that's really cool because it's different than what I've been working for them for about a year now. And I had never done backstage interviews or anything like that. And I actually really enjoy it because it's just completely different. And you get down to the actual storyline and helping create the story and create all the promos. I like doing that too. It's a lot of fun.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
I will say it was crazy that there was a time that you would have been nervous and didn't want to do it because anything that I've seen, it's you are very good at it. And I feel like that it's good that it's wild that there would like that you were kind of reserved about it in the beginning because I would have never guessed that because you're natural at it. It's
thank you so much.
Yeah, it's just but it's like just when it's something that you love to do, the passion of it. I'd literally just on the last episode, I admitted, like, I don't want to say I admitted because I never had a problem. I was like, I'm actually I'm like a fan of Taylor Swift, but I don't listen to her music, if that makes sense. Like, I was like, I listened to the New Heights podcast and she was on there and a couple other, I was like, I actually kind of like it, but I haven't
had a chance to listen to the podcast yet. I should have time tomorrow, and I'm like dying. I've been on TikTok. Like if a video pops up, I scroll. I'm like, no spoilers.
Oh, no spoilers.
It was good. I won't spoil it, but yes, it was. It was good, and they both did. Yeah, they did well. It was. I'll just. The only thing I will say is if you regularly listen to it, like you can tell that Jason was a little bit more. He was trying to be like more structured because it was totally not planned. And it's like, not. But if Taylor Swift asks to be on your podcast, you gotta. I mean,
oh yeah,
it's like what are you like? What are you gonna do?
Is that we now have Taylor Swift.
Yeah,
I've never been to a Chiefs game before. And me and one of my best friends last week bought tickets to a Chiefs game. So I live about 4.5 hours from Kansas City. So we decided on October because we're like, that should be before, any potential ice, snow, crazy temperature. But I told my dad I bought tickets. I don't like football. I don't care. And my dad was like, you bought tickets to a Chiefs game? And I was like, obviously, this might be Travis Kelce's last year playing. And he's like, how much did you spend? I was like, $370. Like the day you'd spend almost $400 to go to a football game. I was like, Swift. I was like, I'm there for the vibes. Like, it'll be fun.
I mean,
there you go.
If they would win the Super Bowl this year, I can't see him. I think he would retire, but I kind of feel like this may be it either way. So yeah,
I think if they would have won last year, he wouldn't have came back.
Yeah. So that's probably a good. Because like it was. I'll just say this because I do watch a lot. I grew up with football. I'm a big football guy. But when I watched the game with the first one that she went to, and I'll just say, like, I can see where the negative response would have came because, like, they didn't know what to do. Like, you could tell, like you could tell they just like seemed like after everything they were just shooting up to the press box and they couldn't stop themselves. And I was like, they did it too. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was like you could tell they were like, holy shit, what we got to do something in this moment. But I'm on board. I hope they win the Super Bowl so you can go out with one.
I always think, I'm like, you know what? This is really, in my opinion, I'm like, this is bringing dads and daughters together. Because, you know, the girls are watching the football game with their dad. There's been so many times I've, like, went downstairs, he's watching the game, and I'll just, like, go sit by him, and he's like, go away. You're here for Taylor Swift. Just go. So, yeah, that would be fun.
So to go from with announcing, we had a question too, just in general, who do you think, in your opinion, is the best ring announcer of all time?
Best ring announcer of all time.
I mean, you could say either that you've seen or, I mean, I don't know how far you go back. Howard Finkel is as far back as I really know.
I don't feel like I can really go that far back. So I grew up with Lillian Garcia.
Mm-hmm.
And she was very good.
I thought she was great. So I'll go with her because I always thought she was great. But I don't know. I guess I haven't really dove into the history of all of the ring announcers.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I mean, what do you like? What do you think about the whole dynamic? What's her name now? Samantha, that does the ring announcing.
Samantha Irvin.
Yeah.
So she doesn't do it anymore.
She ended up quitting.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I really liked her. I think there was a lot of people that didn't like her.
Was that because of the dynamic that she had with? Wasn't her boyfriend one of the wrestlers?
Yeah, Ricochet.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I feel like pretty much anyone I would talk to about it was very 50-50. Like some people really liked her, other people didn't. I thought she was good. I am not a fan of the current announcer that they have since she has left. I don't even know her name. I just am not a big fan.
No.
But
that's okay. It happens. But yeah, Lillian Garcia, that's the one I grew up with too. And it's just like, oh yeah. You can hear her voice like announcing like matches in your head.
Yes.
You know?
She's awesome.
No, she had a great voice. It definitely it boomed. But like that's what I was trying to say to Dave, like with announcing for me, I like it's hard for me to say one or the other because I had later was Jim Ross and Jerry the King Lawler. Yeah. Which it would be easy to say that, but when I was a kid and young, I can remember Gorilla Monsoon and Bobby the Brain Heenan, and they were incredible together too. And then I just said to Dave, I was like, we grew up in the age. I was like, we literally have like the best eras of all. I was like, it's been. I don't know. I hope my daughter is in. I hope she's into wrestling. I've got into it more with my nephews, and I'm going to keep like. I hope she. Because she's 3, and she likes sports, and she's into stuff. Like she likes the first thing she's got a connection to wrestling in a sense, because the first thing she ever watched was XFL. When it came back, and she's got the XFL, even though it's UFL now, but it was when they came back, it was just I can't remember how old she was, but I remember her being like glued to the TV, and I thought, oh, nice, look at this, okay, and but I'm gonna I got time, I'm gonna keep. I feel like it's like I feel like I remember. Remember your dad saying that he had like action figures when you could crawl, and he would name wrestlers and you would go to them. So I'm sitting here thinking like I should have started earlier because I'm like
it's the funniest thing. He had they were like these giant like sipper cups, so they'd be shaped like a wrestler, and it had this big straw coming out the top, and he had several of them. But he would line them up in the floor in his wrestling room, and he would say, you know, Paige, which one's the rock? And I would crawl over to the rock and I would grab the rock. And ironically, rock was the first word that I ever said.
Come on.
Nice.
I think it made my mom so mad. Like to this day when she tells it, she's like, the first word is freaking rock.
Holy, that's amazing.
So yeah, that's pretty funny. But yeah, I think, so for your daughter, here's what I think you need to do. I think she needs to find a girl wrestler to like love and cling on to. And then that would, because see, I grew up with the divas. And nothing will ever compare. I shouldn't get started on it. I don't like the female division as much now. It's not. Mm-mm.
It's not the same.
It's. I mean, they were. I'm like, so are like when you say divas, is it like from the Trish Stratus era of that gen? Okay, and I won't disagree. But I have I think as time as time allowed it to, they're able to be like much bigger. They weren't going to headline WrestleMania back then, and that's good. Yes,
but I feel like they've lost the uniqueness. Like they used to be. The divas, they were special. They had their own, I don't know. It's just, they had their own special belt. Now their belt looks exactly like the men's. It's not, I don't think I totally obviously believe in equality for women, obviously. But I do feel like it's okay to make it a little bit special or a little bit more unique.
Of course.
And I love that they have so many more opportunities and that they're headlining, but I feel like a lot of them look the same. They don't. I don't feel like they really play into like what they used to. Like they used to play into the divas and the sexy gear. And I don't know. I know that everyone's different, but that's just.
No, I get it.
Watching, I loved it, and I grew up like my first username I ever had on Instagram was Future WWE Diva. Like that was like all of my stuff. Like I was like, I'm gonna be a WWE diva. Like
incredible. So who was your? I mean, was it The Rock? Was The Rock your favorite wrestler growing up? Who was your favorite?
The Miz. The Miz
nice.
is like
The Miz.
Yeah, The Miz is my all-time favorite wrestler. Him and Nikki Bella, if you want to talk like man and woman. But yeah, sure. The Miz, that's my guy.
That's awesome.
I wasn't going to, I'm not, and I like The Miz too. I wasn't expecting The Miz. I started wondering, I was like, I didn't know if you were going to say, I thought it could have possibly have been Hulk Hogan, but because I knew that was a big, I thought about your dad when that still kind of feels sort of surreal for, like, we were just talking about it when a few episodes when Hulk Hogan, when he passed away recently, and it was like even when I forget what year it was when he had came back, and I was like 28, and I'm like I wasn't really watching. No, I wasn't that old, baby. I was well into my 20s. It was Hogan Knows Best was on. That was when their show was on.
Like 2005.
Yeah, shit. Okay, so I wasn't that old then. I was 20. I would have been 21, and but when when that music came on and I heard I was like, it's still it didn't matter how old that I was, because I grew up, like, I was an Ultimate Warrior fan, but also Hulk Hogan was Hulk Hogan. Like I was a fan of his. Like, I think every kid was like, when he went to the NWO and turned heel, I just remember there were kids just devastated. It was like, so he was such a big, like, I don't know. It's weird that it's just I hate, that's like one thing I can't, and we were talking about that earlier, like that, like of how they take care, or that might have been before we started recording, but of how they take care of themselves better now and stuff. And so many wrestlers especially of that era, pass away way before their time. And it's just like, he'd been around for a while, and it just like, I don't, is he doing? Is he, I mean, I know, was he good? Is he all right? Like, is it, no?
Very sad.
I figured.
Yeah, and I mean, kind of like we were talking about earlier, a lot of them did pass very young. Their bodies were just completely beaten. They traveled so much. They put themselves through so much, but he had kind of made it to a point, like a lot of the other people from his era of wrestling passed away really young, or like a lot of them were already gone. And so this is what me and my mom talked about the other day. It's just like, we almost thought he was safe from that. Like, we just thought, oh, you know, he's probably got another good 10, 15 years in him. Because I think he was 72. Because we just celebrated what would have been his 73rd birthday, I believe.
Or something. Yeah, he was in his early 70s.
But yeah, Slammer, poor Slammer. It's very sad. And I think one of the reasons he's extra struggling is because we're going on vacation in just a few weeks. And part of the vacation is to Clearwater, Florida, which is where all of, the Hogans hang out. So everything is there, and there were plans to see him. And so now my dad doesn't get to. So it's just, yeah, that's going to be hard.
Yeah, it's for anybody, like it was. I thought just the generations. It sucks that it's also, it's one of those. It's like, I don't know. It's hard to explain. Like, like the name, the Immortal, like sometimes you just think of people just going to be around, you know what I mean? And you just don't, like, even like Ric Flair. I mean, Ric Flair is 76 years old, and his life is obviously documented. It's insane. It's incredible he's still alive. But when Ric Flair goes, I'm going to be absolutely devastated. And it's just like, it's just, that'll be, yeah. I mean, it sucks. It sucks to what, like the one, like you said, safe from it, but it just, it sucks getting right.
But, that was a very hard day, and has been a lot of hard days since then. So I hope somehow, whenever he goes to Clearwater, I hope it's almost healing in a way. They've said they're going to keep everything open. His son Nick runs a lot of it, so I think they're really going to keep the legacy. And I mean, he's an icon. Like, when you think of wrestling, you think of Hulk Hogan. So
yeah, there's a huge
open, or
there's still a bunch of like that's a name that's going to be remembered for a long time. There's a lot of I'd imagined hopefully they keep everything. I mean, it's kind of off topic, but I was trying to figure out how old Brooke and Nick were now. I'm assuming they're in their 30s, maybe, or I don't know. But
I just looked this up because after he passed, I wondered how old they were. I want to say Nick is 36.
Really? So Brooke
36. She's a couple of years older than him.
I didn't realize she was that close to my age. Damn, I didn't, because I'm 40. I didn't realize they were that. I didn't.
Opportunity. You could have married her.
As my wife is up there chasing my daughter around, I've happily married the path I've chosen. But yes, it's age-wise, I absolutely could have married Brooke Hogan. I don't know what I was thinking. If that show was when I was 20, she wouldn't have been that much younger than me.
Nick is currently 35. He was born July 27th, 1990.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And Brooke's older, right?
Yeah. And she's
Brooke is 37. She was born in 88.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah,
there you go.
My math was way off.
It's okay. Luke, do you have anything else for our guest, buddy?
I don't know. I mean, honestly, we could go. This could be a Joe Rogan length podcast if we talked about wrestling with everything we could get. But we barely did scratch the surface. And as I said to your dad a long time ago, and I'll say to you, the door is always open. You're always welcome on here to ever. Sometimes we've had to do a part 2. I think we need a part 2. But we would be
so down, especially to do one together. That would be fun.
I think it would be, because that was, like I was telling you, you're the only, other than Dave, like we've had Dave's dad on, and this is like, you're the only other person like of a daughter, dad, like of a child and a dad that we've had. So yeah, absolutely, that would be. That would be amazing to get done. If we could work it out whenever, we know the schedules can be busy, but we absolutely, I appreciate you taking the time to hop on with us.
How flexible you are with me, because I was like, oh gosh, like I know that, weeknights are usually really good for me, but then again, you guys don't ever know when you're going to get home from work, and we're in different time zones.
Right.
And then weekends are crazy, so.
It can be difficult. And that was like what I was saying earlier when we first started, like COVID, like now that everybody, including ourselves, we can like live again and do stuff. It makes it, we try to always be, as flexible as we can. And we're glad. Yeah. We appreciate, it worked out, and we'll do it again sometime. But we appreciate you coming on.
No, you be here.
For sure.
Definitely. So listen, don't go anywhere yet, though. We want to say goodbye off air. Okay. So everybody, also, quick, where can people find you? Where can people?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram at Paige McFarland _. You can find me on Facebook, Paige Mac. And then my favorite platform, TikTok, you can find me at Paige McFarland, just my full name. And I do vlogs, day in the life of a ring announcer. I post my backstage interviews, I post my announcing, I post behind the scenes. I'm always posting something.
She's defended us against the trolls too, Dave. She's helped out. So she's well. It's appreciated.
Oh my God, I was so pissed. I was reading through it. I'm like, this is ridiculous.
I told Dave, one of the guys I work with, shout out to you, Logan. He called me fuming. Because he was reading those comments. I was like, well, don't look at it, man. I was like, TikTok's an unforgiving place sometimes.
Oh, yeah. Well, all the stuff that people were saying, I'm like, oh, my God, they do not make too much money. They probably should make more, all the crap they have to deal with.
Well, it's just, as we've said, and you know with your dad, like I've always said, unless you either live it or you experience it through somebody that lives it, it's not like nobody... Like we were saying with the chiropractor earlier, we were getting called, and there's no disrespect to pizza delivery boys, but I don't think too many of them are having to go to the chiropractor for that job.
Exactly. But, I just wanted to comment and be like, well, have you spent all of your Christmas Eves without your dad while your family does activities, and, your dad's the only one missing out on like the big family events? Like, have fun.
Right.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah.
So everybody go follow Paige everywhere where she just said Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Paige, thank you so much for coming on and taking the time out of your day here. It's been amazing. Luke, buddy, I will catch you soon. Paige, thank you again. Everybody, we'll see you guys soon.
Later, everybody.